Good evening and welcome to Just the News. I'm Faye. Thank you for joining us. Let's get straight to our headlines. The officials of the Election Commission met with the Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan to review the COVID situation ahead of the assembly polls scheduled in 5 states early next year. The meeting comes after the Allahabad High Court urged the Election Commission and the Prime Minister to postpone the upcoming Uttar Pradesh assembly elections because of the threat of Omicron. Now, the Election Commission officials had told the Indian Express, and I quote out of the Indian Express, that the Commission would proceed to Lucknow on Tuesday afternoon for a scheduled poll preparedness review meeting there to return on the 30th afternoon. Elections are expected, like I told you, in Uttar Pradesh and several other states, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur early next year. Speaking of India's COVID situation, India has reported 578 cases of Omicron as of today. Delhi reported the highest number of the new variant at 142, followed by Maharashtra at 141. Kerala and Gujarat have reported 57 and 49 cases respectively. Now, let's take a look at the total number as well. India has reported a total of 6,531 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours, 315 deaths. That number seems to be rising on a regular basis. That is what is causing concern. Now, of that concern, the central government has warned the state governments right now not to let their guards down amid the Delta and the Omicron variants, and have informed the state governments to impose what they called need-based local curbs and restrictions in the ongoing festive season. The statement said, and this is out of the Economic Times, I'll quote it, this is from the central government to all state governments. The country has witnessed an overall decline in active cases. However, the new variant is reported to be at least 3 times more transmissible than the Delta variant of concern and is posing a new challenge of COVID containment measures in the country. Now, let me just take you through some of the announcements. Remember, the Prime Minister announced that there will be vaccinations available for children between the ages of 15 and 18. Starting the 3rd of June, the central government has also now informed that registrations for these vaccinations will start on the 1st of January on the CoWIN platform. The CoWIN platform chief, Dr. R.S. Sharma, has said that children can use their student ID cards or their Aadhaar or other identification documents to register. The Prime Minister also announced, remember, booster shots, or what they call precautionary shots, to be given to frontline and healthcare workers starting the 10th of January. This announcement came fairly late at night on the 25th of December. Those above the age of 60 with comorbidities will also be eligible for booster shots, but our understanding is that it will have to be on advice of your doctor. There are some new restrictions that have been announced by various state governments right now. Let me take you through them. Delhi has called for a night curfew. This is the Delhi government has imposed a curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting today, the 27th of December. Remember, Delhi reported 331 new cases in the last 24 hours. Kerala has also announced a night curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. starting the 30th of December until the 2nd of January, effectively for New Year's Eve. Mumbai's civic body, BMC, has announced that New Year celebrations inside or in open spaces in Mumbai will be banned completely. The civic chief, Iqbal Chahal, said no New Year celebration program, function, gathering, party activity will happen in any closed or open spaces be allowed in the municipal regions of Greater Mumbai. Australia has apparently reported its first Omicron-caused death. Now, this comes after Israel, UK and the US also reported deaths. And from Australia, we understand it was a man in his 80s with underlying health conditions who lived in New South Wales. The state has now reported a surge in the number of COVID cases. According to the 4th Health Index launched by the NITI Aayog, Kerala as a state has emerged the top performer in terms of overall health performance among larger states, while Uttar Pradesh is the worst. Now, we're quoting out of the PTI. It also said for the 4th consecutive round that Kerala has emerged as the top performer. Kerala was followed by Tamil Nadu and Telangana, which means that these are the states with the best, large states with the best healthcare in the country. Among smaller states, Mizoram has emerged the best performer, while among the Union territories, Delhi and then Jammu and Kashmir ranked among the bottom UTs in overall performance. In other news, away from COVID, 2 more people have been named in the FIR in connection with the alleged hate speech in the Dharam Sansad in Haridwar. The police have named one Dharam Das and Annapurna, a woman, in the hate speech case. Earlier on Wednesday, the police had booked Wasim Rizvi or Jitendra Tyagi and others under Section 153A, promoting enmity between different groups on the grounds of religion. Now, 76 lawyers have written to Chief Justice N.V. Ramana requesting him to take suo motu cognizance of the case of hate speeches allegedly made at separate events, one in Delhi and one in Haridwar. The letter alleged that the speeches were delivered during events were not just hate speeches, but they amounted to an open call for murder of an entire community. The letter read, and I quote, "The said speeches thus pose a grave threat, not just to the unity and the integrity of our country, but they also endanger the lives of millions of Muslim citizens. It is also pointed out that the recent speeches are of a particular series of similar speeches we have come across in the past. Thus, urgent judicial intervention is required to prevent such events that seem to have become the order of the day." To give you context, it was a 3-day Dharam Sansad, or basically a religious parliament, that took place between the 17th and the 19th of December, held in Haridwar. A series of hate speeches, videos then went viral from there, calling for a violent targeting of the Muslim community in India. It hasn't stopped though. It seems to continue. The Chhattisgarh police has now lodged an FIR against Kalicharan Maharaj for objectionable remarks made against Mahatma Gandhi and the praising of Gandhi's assassin, Nathuram Godse, at the Dharam Sansad held in Raipur on Sunday this week. He said, and I quote, "Unfortunately, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi destroyed the country. I hail Nathuram Godse for his assassination," end quote. In the viral video, the crowd is seen laughing and praising him. BJP MP Tejasvi Surya has said that he unconditionally withdraws his comments on Hindu revival or the bringing back of the Hindu fold, all those who converted over the course of India's history. At an event in Udupi's Sri Krishna Math on Saturday, Tejasvi Surya made a statement, and I quote, this is from the video: "Those people who have left their mother religion for various socio-political, economic reasons over the course of the history of India, those who have gone out of the Hindu fold must be brought back in whole, brought back into Hindu faith, or brought back into the mother faith." The video went viral over the weekend. Today, Tejasvi Surya tweeted, and I quote, he said, "I spoke on the subject of Hindu revival in Bharat. Certain statements from my speech have regrettably caused an avoidable controversy. I therefore unconditionally withdraw my statements," end quote. On to some politics. The Aam Aadmi Party has secured the most number of seats in the Chandigarh Municipal Corporation polls. It won 14 out of 35. The BJP got 12 seats. The Congress Party got 8, and the Shiromani Akali Dal got 1 ward. Aam Aadmi Party leader Raghav Chadha, who was on the ground, said Chandigarh is just the trailer. Punjab is the whole movie. Elections were held on Friday in Chandigarh. Quick look at news coming in from the world of business right now. The Department of Telecommunications has announced that metros, big cities including Gurgaon, Bangalore, Kolkata, Mumbai, Delhi, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad, Pune will be the first places to get 5G services next year. The government plans to hold spectrum auctions for 5G in March, April. That's early next year. In September this year, the DoT sought recommendations from the telecom sector regulator on the auctioning of that spectrum. Let's also give you a quick look at news coming in from across the world right now. In its latest directives issued on Sunday, the Taliban has said that Afghan women seeking to travel long distances by road should be offered transport only if accompanied by a male relative. Other restrictions on women include banning them from secondary schools and workplaces. The Taliban also have said that public transport should not be allowed or offered to women unless they're wearing the full hijab. The Taliban had taken over the country in August this year. They kept talking about how this was a different and more progressive Taliban and the women will not be persecuted. But with every move, it does seem that it's moving towards making women prisoners, which is a terrible thing for the international community to sit silently and watch happen. The Chinese envoy to the US has said that if a Cold War is launched against China, China will not be the loser. Mr. Qin Gang went on to say, and I quote, "Those people cannot win the Cold War. First, China is not the former Soviet Union. The Chinese Communist Party is not like the Soviet Union Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party is old, 100 years old, celebrating a centenary, eating a very big birthday cake." End quote. And a piece of positive news before we leave you for today. Swiss citizens will be able to change their gender legally by visiting the civil registry office from the 1st of January. Those aged above 16 who are not under legal guardianship will be able to change their gender, update their legal name by self-declaration at the civil registry office. Younger individuals will require the guardian's consent. Other European countries that allow a person to legally change their gender without hormone therapy are Ireland, Belgium, Portugal, and Norway. That brings us to the end of the news. I have a quick question for you, though, as we continue to bring you the news and various updates on a regular basis. We would like to know who you'd like to hear from. Is there a particular interview that you'd like to know, or a particular topic you'd like us to spend more time explaining? Leave it in the comments section. Tell us who you'd like us to interview and what topic you'd like us to focus on, and we'll try and bring you those interviews over the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.